Welcome back. I love adding florals to my home every single season, fresh or faux. I call it layered beauty. In this video, I'm going to be showing you all the fall florals that I did in my home this year for each room from the previous videos that I did, the Decorate With Me. And I'll be showing you how I came up with the color scheme, how I put them together, and all the sources that I used. We'll also be doing some Thanksgiving DIY projects. We'll be making some bronze napkin rings, and we'll be making a Thanksgiving centerpiece for the table. And then I'm going to show you what my Thanksgiving dining table is going to look like. So I can't wait to show you. So here are the floral arrangements that I have in my bathroom. I wanted to talk about this set here. These were actually thrifted, and I just painted them all the same color. So this one, these two little vases here, and this one here. And I wanted everything, I had or envisioned, one color story of deep burgundy, rust, and a little cream, with all the vases being the same color. So that's what I did, and I think it came out really great. And I'm just so glad that I found the exact color that I wanted the first time for the spray painted. So they were spray painted. They're like just regular ceramic vases that I got at the flea market. And the only prep I really didn't do any prep, just cleaned it really well and then sprayed it with the flat spray paint. And that's it. And so in this particular one, I have a hydrangea that I've had for a while, along with some just little scraps that I had left over from any other floral arrangements that I use. And that's how you can use up everything that you have, is using these little scraps to just make these little small bud vase arrangements around your home. So there's that one. And then this one here, you've probably seen in one of my other videos. This is a bud vase that I got from Anthropologie a couple of years ago. I think they might have a couple of different types this year. This is blown glass. It's very lightweight, but I love it because this one is just a faux flower, but of course you can put, something fresh in here as well. But I thought this little acorn was just really cute. All right, and this one here, these both are just spray painted from little odds and ends that I found at the flea market. And this is, actually this one I found at a flea market, and this one, I think this one is from, let's see, I think this one might be from Target last year, maybe. Yeah. But anyway, this color, I painted it this color, and I thought it was perfect. And it's already, you see how it's already a pre-made arrangement. And you probably could add something to it, but I just like the simplicity of the way that it is. All right, and this one here is another one that I thrifted and spray painted it. It was a ceramic, like glossy kind of ceramic base. And the only thing I would say you have to be careful is, it might scratch. You might have to repaint it or put a sealant on it. This one is another one and done. I got this bunch. There's like a couple of bunches from Hobby Lobby. So we have this one here with the kind of grass look. And then we have some, I guess you call these mums maybe. And then we have some eucalyptus leaves that I put in there, and then these other leaves. So that's this one. All right, so this one, this vase came from Walmart. This is the second Walmart woven vase that I bought from them this year, and it's really great. And again, you don't even know it's like made out of some kind of a plastic or something unless you touch it or you like really close up. But I love the shape of the urn, and to me it looks like something expensive that you would buy in some higher end place. In here is a one and done from Hobby Lobby, and I love this one. It's because it's just really neutral. There's little acorns in here and some maple leaves and some oak leaves and pine cone. And there's that one. And this, it's got kind of like an orangey color. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it this way, but once I put the floral stems and put everything together, I think this is the perfect color. So I just left it exactly the way that it is. All right, and I wanted to just show you, this I got earlier this year or last year from one of my favorite garden stores here locally in Los Angeles called Rolling Greens. And they're always one of my stops to go to be inspired for whatever season. They always have these beautiful vases and fresh plants, faux plants, and decor. And I always just love to go in there and just be inspired and dream and see how they put things together. So I couldn't resist this beautiful rust colored, I guess it's a pot plate or, you know, ceramic thing that you would put a pot in, just like you would see this. There'd be like a matching color, but they didn't have it. They just had this. So look how beautiful this kind of goes with all of these fall colors. So I started using it for all kinds of things. I haven't put a plant in it yet, but what I have been doing is just experimenting with different things. So I wanted to show you some different things you can put in here. Like, of course, you could put a candle, which is how I have it now. You could also put in like this glass pumpkin that I got from Target a few years back. You can put that in there, and it just gives it a little something extra, extra layering. Then I have this wonderful pear, woven pear that I've had for years. And you can just put a simple little object like that that can really elevate it rather than just sitting it on the table or in a bowl or something. And my other favorite thing, which are battery operated candles. This is the color Sage from Luminara. And let's see, we're just going to turn that on. And this is perfect for a candle. All right, so this is my bathroom scheme this year. And next year, I might keep it the same, or we'll probably change it up. This pumpkin I actually did a few years ago. It's actually a real pumpkin that I hollowed out and cleaned it out really well, but the flowers are faux flowers, and I just made an arrangement with that, and I had that on my side table. I really love how this came out. I would love to do it again. Maybe next year I'll figure out if I want to do a fresh one, but I will tell you the fresh pumpkins don't last that long, so the next time I do it, I will be using a faux pumpkin and just carving that, so out of styrofoam or something like that, because if you use it fresh, it's probably just going to be good for a party or a wedding or something, and it's probably going to last up to a week, and that's about it. This pumpkin is currently in my living room, and it didn't start off this way. It actually started off white. It came as a set of white pumpkins I bought at Amazon a few years ago, and I painted it because I was inspired by some of these higher end pumpkin gourd sets that you might have seen on some other stores, whether it's Pottery Barn or some other high-end boutique stores, and they'll run from like $250 to $300 and up for like a set of 5. And I really wanted to see if I could just duplicate it, so I just got mixed together the paint color that I wanted of the gourd. I did that first. Then I went in and did the creases with a dark black, like a kind of a black and gray mix. And then I went over that and did that baking soda treatment that I showed you that I did on the pot earlier. And you just put that in the little creases, and it really looks like one of those kind of aged pumpkins that you'd see in the pumpkin patch. I think it came out great. And there's the top part. And I have another pumpkin I did the same way when I get to the bedroom projects. She came from Hobby Lobby, as well as this hydrangea stem, and this one I had previously for a couple years, but I like the two combinations together, and it looks like it's a nice little coif I like. Okay, this is an urn that I've had for many years. I do not know where I got it from, but in here it's just some floral foam in the base. I don't know if you can see. There's floral foam and some moss in the base, and then I just put some maple leaves and some other leaves here, and then this I have a pumpkin sitting on top, which I did the same technique on the other pumpkin that I showed you. I painted it the colors that I wanted, put in that dark color in the little creases there, and then put baking soda, and I also speckled it with white paint just to get another dimension of texture on that. And then I painted the stem green, and this started out as a white pumpkin, part of that whole white pumpkin set that I bought on Amazon a few years ago. And there you have that. So if you turn it around, you can just see it just sits right in there. This is one of my latest DIY projects that I absolutely loved how it turned out. So I had some of these toile plates that I've had for years, and I've, you know, just ate on them or used them in my dining tableware settings. And this year I looked at them. I was gonna, you know, use them for a table setting for fall, and I thought, why didn't I do something different? I always wanted to do a silhouette on something, either framed, and I thought these plates would be absolutely perfect. I think I saw something similar on Pinterest, maybe like a year ago. And they weren't silhouettes, but they were something else. And I said, you know, a silhouette would be really great. So I said, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. I actually have a set of, let's see, 5. And if you saw my bedroom video, you'll see where I put them on the wall there, and I think they look really beautiful. In my bedroom, my whole inspiration was romantic light academia, which is about slow living, the Gilded Age ladies, you know, beautiful living, slow living, and the silhouettes to me just fit in with that whole theme perfectly. The brief history of a silhouette, or the use of silhouettes, was it started in the 1700s but gained more popularity in the 1800s, around the time of Jane Austen, who is an author known for her romanticism and romanticizing even today's living. And then it became popular again in the 20s around the arts and crafts movement. And then when I went to a art showing at the Broad Museum, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, there was an exhibit with Kara Walker's silhouette art that she does. There was a whole gallery section of her beautiful silhouettes, and it really touched me, it moved me, and that was also the inspiration for these silhouettes. So this is how I did it. Again, they were just plain plates, and so I went online and I looked for some free images of silhouettes that I wanted to use. So I thought it would be fitting to find some wonderful hairstyles. Some of them I've even had in the past, and just other ones that I thought were kind of cool. Again, this seems like it reminds me of the 70s, but just some romantic kind of natural hairstyles that I thought would be kind of cool and different. So all I did was printed these out. Make sure you have enough black ink because you want this to be as dark as possible. So what I did, I carefully cut them out with some very sharp scissors. Then after I cut it out, then I used some matte Mod Podge, put that on the back, glued it on here, and then actually before I did that, I cut it out and then I painted it black with the blackest black paint that you can find. Paint that, let that dry. Then once you do that, then you put that on here and you see how dark that looks. That's how you want it, as dark as that. And then you just put that on there with some Mod Podge on the back and the top. Make sure when you're putting the Mod Podge on there that you're trying to smooth it out as much as possible, because you will end up seeing, you know, your strokes. So just be really careful of that. Now, I noticed that there was a lot of reflection on these. So what I found in the last couple of days, I found this product called dulling spray. So I'm going to spray this on there just to get some of that shine down. But I just love how all of these turned out. And it really gives me that romantic feel in my bedroom. So I hope you guys try this, you know, this craft, this little DIY project. You can do anything as your subject. You can use your pets, you know, family members or whatever. You can even probably do you know, a little sketching of your house or something. So I really, really love how these turned out. This beautiful bouquet is also in my bedroom. The urn here is silver or tarnished silver. I could have cleaned up the silver, but I really like the antique tarnished look on this. So I just kept it the way that it is. And this is a floral piece from Hobby Lobby and a couple of other little things actually. So these roses are actually part of the Hobby Lobby stem. As you can see, let's get up a little closer so you can see more of it. And then these dried oyster stems, I got that from the LA Flower Mart downtown. And so I put a few of those in there. And the golden yellow color was just so beautiful. And I felt like it was just the right natural accent to show all of these beautiful colors off. And also this is Hobby Lobby, the individual hydrangea stems that has like a little orange and kind of brown rust tones in there. So pretty. I've used this on, and here's another hydrangea there. And I've used this also in my dining room. So if you haven't seen that video, that's in my kitchen, china cabinet, and a dining room video. So you might want to check that out. And then this is part of the Hobby Lobby one. All right, and there you have it. Okay, so this arrangement I have in my bedroom, as you have seen in the bedroom video. The vase is from Threshold, Target, Studio McGee, from maybe like 3 years ago. And I just wanted to put in some colors that I thought were light in color, but also fall forward. So I wanted a lot of white, but I wanted to accent it with some orange, rust, and a little hint of green. I mean, you could even use this for spring, but for me, this says fall. It's just got a lot of different mixes of mums and chrysanthemums and other flower stems that I've collected over the years. And this does not have any structure inside. They're just put in there. And it's easy for me to change the flowers out at any moment and put something new in there. So this terrarium with a cloche, which is actually a vase, is in my bedroom on one of the corner shelves that you may have seen. If you haven't seen my bedroom video, please go check that out. It's linked in the description box below. It's the bottom piece here is marble. It's very heavy, and I've had it for a long time. I would use it to put under, you know, plant pots or other different candles and different things. And I also had this vase for a long time. And one day, I don't know, I just tried something and I realized the top of the vase fit perfectly with the little indentation under like where the vase sits. It's like perfect. It's like they were made for each other. So I'm going to take this off and kind of show you what's in here. And it looks great just like this. I got the mushroom set from Shop Terrain 2 years ago. And it actually was pink. They had sold out of the other colors, the brown and the beige. And I wanted it to be more fall looking. So I just painted it. I painted it. So I painted it this beautiful kind of beigey taupe brown. And I added little bits of floral leaves and moss, you know, whatever I felt was going to be kind of cool to add, like a mysterious fantasy kind of vibe. And this is actually a little, I don't know, you might want to call it a pillbox. It actually opens up, but it's got a magnet in it. But anyway, so that actually opens up, and I thought it was kind of cool. And this is just a little pine cone and some moss. I've got some different types of moss in there, as you can see. So I just created a little world and put it under glass. And it really adds to some of the botanical elements that I wanted to add to the bedroom. In the whole vibe of the light academia, which is about studying and books and nature and all of those wonderful, curious things. Curiosity we were going for. All right, this beautiful arrangement is in my bedroom on top of my armoire. And it's actually an arrangement that I put together a couple of years ago that I use as a base to kind of change, you know, for each season. And there's just all dried florals and little natural elements like this guy here. These dried hydrangeas have come from maybe 2 or 3 different arrangements that I've had fresh before. And inside, you can't really see because it's really dense, but inside the arrangement, I have floral foam and floral wire to keep everything in place, because hydrangeas just, they won't stay where you want to put them, so you have to give them some kind of support. And then I have just a little pumpkin pick, and these guys are very they're very pointy, so you don't want to touch them too much. It's kind of hard to work with these. So I think I got those at the downtown LA Flower Mart, as well as the dried lambs. I think these are lamb's ears. Yes, that's the same thing. This is the lamb's ears. And the pot is just a container, which is a galvanized metal container that's been aged. And I think I got that at Shop Terrain a few years ago. Once I find out and if it's still available, I will let you guys know. But I really, really, really love how this turned out. All right, this is another one of my absolute favorite arrangements that I made this year. I love the color story. I love all of the delicate blooms and leaves. Isn't she pretty? So a lot of these stems came from Hobby Lobby, like the berries here came from Hobby Lobby. The actual vase here on the bottom came from Hobby Lobby. Let's see what else. I believe the poppies came from there, as well as this one and the white version of them. And the leaves here that you saw in another arrangement that I had for my living room. And this, I think this is a magnolia flower. This magnolia flower I actually already had a couple years, but I thought this was a nice pop of color in this arrangement. And this one sits on the shelf in my vanity area. So the structure on this one is floral foam, and that's it. I didn't put a wire cage or anything with these. Can't really see it that well. It's really densely packed, but that's the structure inside. It's just floral foam and a little bit of this tape I had here just to keep that pumpkin in place, that little pick. And what I love about these is that they're not super matchy-matchy. I mean, they're the same, but also different. And they are fraternal twins, not identical twins. So the florals inside are from Hobby Lobby. There's actually two different types of stems in here. There's the berry stem, which is really pretty, with acorns and some like oak looking leaves there. And then this one with the, I think it's a pine cone or a thistle. That one is a separate one with these gorgeous looking leaves that have kind of like a soft finish to them. And you can bend the leaves to however you like. And so they both have the same exact ones. But I loved how they looked. I wanted something that matched on each side, but also had like a really airy feeling to them. But you could still see the plates on the wall in the background, and it didn't take up too much visual space. And I just love how they turned out. Now here is an arrangement that I put together actually like 3 years ago. And it still looks just as great as the first day that I put it together. You can see all the pretty flowers, and a lot of the flowers actually were spring flowers, but I just mixed them with different tones of the autumn season, like the rust color, the burgundy, and the kind of ochre brown bunny tails. And I really, really love the color story. Now, I used a cage. I hope you can see that. I used the cage to keep the flowers in place, and so that they don't shift around. And I like to use this one for my dining table. I put it on top of the china cabinet. It's been in my office area. I like to have things that I can use for a couple years, or who knows, maybe 5 years. But this, no matter what color story I seem to come up with every year for fall, this seems to fit right in. This bowl, I did get this from Anthropology years ago as well. Oh, and then I also taped, you see a little bit of tape there for the cage that I put in there. And that also keeps it in place. So, all right, that's that one. All right, I thought this wire urn was perfect to show off the potpourri. And this is some pieces of potpourri. Some of these are pieces from the Williams-Sonoma potpourri from last year. And then I added in some other natural elements like this ball here and some of these other little balls that came in the potpourri, some preserved leaves and some oranges, and a couple of little paper mache pumpkins. And this is in my china cabinet. You might have seen it. I had it kind of tucked in the back, but you can see it a little bit closer. And then I added some oak leaves and whatever little tidbits that I thought I could put in here that would make it look pretty. The urn, the wire urn I've had for quite some time. And this one is sitting on my pot rack where I hang my apron up, if you saw my kitchen video. Now this one was fun. This actually has like 3 or 4 different types of oak branches. Some of them I got from our downtown floral market in the LA flower market downtown. Like these here, these are preserves. I actually have some of the loose leaves that fell off. I just kind of put those on my shelves. Here's another one. This one is, I got this a couple of years ago. I can't remember where I got this from, but if I remember, I will definitely link it in the description box. And I also have one from Hobby Lobby, which is this big one here. And the pot is from Home Depot, if you can believe that. Don't be afraid to go to your home and garden stores for new pots and vases, especially if you want to make a statement and fill up a space, you know, and you only want to use one arrangement. Using a big pot like this one really fits the bill for that. It's pretty heavy, but I like how I can put as many of these branches in as I could even put more of the branches in if I want to. And here's another color preserved oak leaf. How pretty is that? And here's that other leaf from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so in continuing in the bedroom, this is I guess I would consider this a boho wreath. And basically I had these wooden beads that have been sitting in my craft materials for years. I didn't know what I wanted to do with them. And so I thought, oh, why don't I make them into a wreath? And the wooden beads came in this whole set, these colors that you see, the beige, brown, and the dark brown, or the tan. And I just kind of shaped it, got a heavy gauge wire. Then I thread my beads through, closed it, and then I added these eucalyptus stems, as well as these other little stems here. Some white roses, and another, I think that's an old-fashioned rose there. And that's it. That's the whole wreath. And it took me, you know, just a couple hours, like 2 or 3 hours to do. And the only other things you needed was hot glue to put the flowers on, which covers the, you know, the connection of the wire and the beads there. And it's going to be easy for me to add or change the flowers or whatever I want to do. So pretty. All right, so this is another boho type inspired wreath that I made. This one hangs in the TV entertainment room. And this one was simple to do, but it did take some time to put together. What I used was a needlepoint wreath. As you can see how thick it is here on the side. And the yarn was just a regular yarn, but it was the yarn that had different colors, like an ombre type yarn that would change every few inches. So I wanted to get that gradient kind of color. Like up here, it starts with the yellow ochre, and it gradually turns into a deeper golden color, then like a deep orange brown, and then it goes into a brown color there. All right, and so this is constructed with real pampas grass, which even though I've sprayed this with hairspray a few times, it still kind of wants to shed. So you have to be cognizant of doing real pampas grass, which is why some people use fake. I don't like the fake as much as I do the real. I think the real has a better texture, and obviously it looks more natural because it is. But that's what you kind of have to deal with. So we have pampas grass. We have some little twigs here to give it some structure and movement. Then here, I think I got these at the LA Flower Mart, these wooden flowers. And then these are velvet covered buttons. I actually collect fabric scraps, and this was a great way to add a little bit of something interesting and vintage to this arrangement. So each one of these has a vintage fabric over a button cover, and it made into a button. And so I put that in the middle, and then you have more eucalyptus here. You see some in the back, and some preserved leaves here, right back there. Oh, you can see one there. And then I have it hanging with a beautiful silk ribbon. I love how the ribbon is frayed on the edges. It's really pretty. And so I could use this boho wreath for Christmas if I wanted to. I could either change the buttons out, or I could add some ornaments to it. Maybe some green ornaments would be great to match the ribbon. Because it's a neutral color, I could really use it anytime I want or whatever season I want. So I think that one turned out pretty great. And then as you can see in the video, I've layered this wreath over an oval mirror, which it works perfect because the structure of the wreath is a circle, and it's very airy, so you can still see through the mirror, but also have another beautiful layer on top. I am so happy how this wreath turned out. This wreath is actually from Threshold Target, the McGee collection this year for fall. And it was pretty as it was. However, I embellished it with some other little colors that I wanted to bring into the color story here. that would really complete my other items that I purchased throughout the house. I've actually put this in a couple of different places in the home. So there's burgundies, there's some yellows in there. Those hops are from Hobby Lobby. This is some more pampas grass, but in a burgundy kind of color. There's some preserved oak leaves here. I'm not sure what kind of leaves these are, but these are preserved natural leaves. And then I have some eucalyptus woven in there. And I got these like kind of fan stems. I got those from World Market. And I think these might be hops too, but they're just in a red, bright red color, which I thought was a really pretty pop of color to kind of accent all of the other colors in the wreath. And then it came with this is the ribbon that comes with the wreath when you buy it, which I left it on there, but this is a ribbon that I hang it up with. This is kind of a really deep orange silk ribbon with that frayed edge that I think looks so great. And it kind of brings out those oranges. And I think it's really pretty. And honestly, if you were to get try to shop for a wreath with this much dimension and materials, it's gonna cost you, definitely over $200. So I would say this is a great DIY. It's always good if you want to start off with the base of something and then add to it so that you can have your own custom $1 million look. And I also put in some lights, the little twinkle lights. And it's got a couple of different versions on here. Let me see. Here we go. So pretty. And I love hanging this in the one big window that I do have, and in the TV and entertainment room. I hope you're enjoying this DIY video. Now stay tuned till the end because I'll be showing you a quick decorating tip for fall, or really any season. And I'll also be talking about my next video, which is how I prepared for fall and all the exciting things that I'll be doing in that video. So refresh your beverage, refresh your snacks, and stay tuned. I created this wall hanging maybe, I guess 3 or 4 years ago. Losing count now. But I've always wanted to make a wall hanging, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was looking at Pinterest probably for at least a year, trying to get ideas on what I wanted. And, you know, at first I wanted to do something with all these different colors in it, and, you know, but I realized that, hey, I've never done this before. And I probably should start with something small and something simple. So I just started designing something, and I designed it around things I already had. So what I had was this mop material. I had bought it for another project, arts project, and I actually bought it at a restaurant supply store, if you can believe it. You see this part up here? That is to make your own mops. And as myself as an artist, I always look at things a lot differently than just for what things were made for. So with that, they had that part up there. Then they also had like a little loop-de-loop kind of part. And then they had this long part. So I use all three of those in different areas. So you can see at the top, I used the just straight cut part, and then I used the loop here, and I used it here and then here. And so I used that as the basis for this entire thing. And then for that, I used the natural weaving that you see there that came with the mop kit. And I used that to weave all the other wool and yarn that I bought. So I just learned 2 simple basic knots. I learned like a little twist knot here. You might not be able to see it very well, but I learned a little knot there. And then I learned another knot here with loops. And that's it. You know, and this is basically just woven in. It's very thick, so then it covered a lot of ground for me. I didn't have to do a whole lot of, you know, crazy difficult knots or anything. It just took time to kind of put everything and the color placement. So as you can see, this is very neutral. So there's probably like 6 different colors here. There's black, obviously, in the mop color, but there is 2 different browns, like a kind of tan brown and then a deeper brown there. Then there is 2 different taupes. There's like a deep taupe here, and then another taupe that's a little smaller grade there. And then there's 3 different kind of cream colors. So there's like this cream color, then there's like a peachy kind of color, and actually there's another one. There's this one, and this is actually slightly lighter. So that's pretty much it. And then I grounded it all with black, and there's 2 different types of black. I have a thicker yarn here, and then I have a kind of skinnier one that I made out of the tassels with. And I guess that took me maybe 2 months off and on, you know, whenever I had time. I just kind of, you know, did a little here and there, a couple hours, and eventually it was done. And on this side, it was more kind of taupe. As you can see, that side was more kind of light brown and the peach. And then this side was more darker brown, the taupe there, and another kind of taupe color here in the yarn. There's another taupe there, this one. And I sourced all of my materials on Etsy. And if I can find the links to those, that if those colors and those exact grades are still available, I will link those in the description below. And it's hanging off of a natural driftwood up there. Now I purchased the driftwood online. because I know that they will treat the driftwood properly. You can go to the beach and find your own driftwood if you want, but you have to treat it to get rid of any pests or bugs that might be inside of it. So I would suggest doing that unless you can figure out a way how to bleach it and do all of that. But you know, again, I had never done anything like this before. And I always want to challenge myself to do new things. And I was so glad that I did. This is something that I'll probably cherish for a very long time and for years to come. So even if you don't want to do something maybe this size, but you can do something, you know, much smaller for a little space. It just adds a lot of interest other than just, you know, hanging another picture somewhere. So, and I thought it looked great against my 70s stone fireplace. So I wanted to show you some of the materials I use for the wall hanging. So here's an example of the mop trim that I found at the restaurant supply place. So this already has so much texture. You can use this for so many different crafts. And it really wasn't that expensive. It was like kind of cheap actually. And then here's some yarn here in different colors. Here's one in the cream. Then I have some in the black. And this is kind of a cream and black color. And oh yes, and so this one is what I use for the boho wreath that I showed you before with the pampas grass and the natural flowers with the buttons, the covered buttons. This is what I use to wrap the hoop. Okay, more yarn. And here, this is what the thicker pieces look like. You can see this beautiful wool here. And I just use that to just weave in and out, leaving big, large loops to cover a wide area. And I'm sure I'll be using these in another project that I'll be showing you, you know, sometime in the future. This vintage vase I used a couple of different ways. Just a bunch of some fall florals in this version. And then in this version, I used a beautiful oak branch from Hobby Lobby that is a pretty good Pottery Barn dupe. This is what I currently have on my dining table. It is a urn from Pottery Barn. You might have seen this urn I showed you in my book nook library area. And as I said before, I always move things around in my home just to kind of keep it fresh, and I always like to see how things look in a different light and so on. So yeah, so this was from Pottery Barn. They had a terracotta collection, and I just thought how pretty. I wanted to bring this color into my color story this year. And these are just preserved eucalyptus leaves, and I can't remember what kind of leaves these are, but all of them are preserved with different colors like the burgundy, the wine. And there you go. And this pot you can use all year round. Terracotta is just one of those basic neutral colors that you can use any time of year. Now this one, as you saw in my living room video, it had candles behind it lit up, And this is also kind of like a one and done. This is a terracotta pot that I got from Target, I think maybe a couple of years ago. It's got like this beautiful texture to it. And these are from Hobby Lobby. I really wanted the garland that these leaves were also made with, but it was sold out, never came back. It wasn't in store or online. So hopefully they'll bring it back next year. But this color is absolutely perfect. I wanted to bring in some burgundy this year, along with the rust tones and some greens, chocolate brown, and the terracotta. So pretty. I like how airy it is and how easy it was. And I think it goes perfect with this terracotta pot. So this arrangement is sitting on top of my cookbook library shelf. And I don't exactly remember where I got this vase from. I think I got it from Target maybe a couple of years ago. But I just love the kind of modern shape of it and the finish. It's like a matte finish. And the floral stems are from, these floral stems are from Hobby Lobby, the thistle ones. So nice. You could actually use these for spring and fall, to be honest. And then these are dried cattails that I already had. They're not preserved or anything, they're just dried. I think I got these from the Flower Mart. And I wanted this arrangement to be very sparse and airy, and it just works absolutely perfect because it's sitting right in front of some artwork, and I wanted you to still be able to see the artwork without having a lot of stuff going on in front of it. But I love the coloring and the against the white. I just think it works great. Oh, this is a vintage lamp that I got at the flea market. There is a flea market here on Melrose, and as soon as I saw it, I had to have it. I'm not sure what era it comes from. Could be the 70s, it could be earlier. I don't know. I just know I had to have it. It did not come with a shade. This is actually a vintage plant, hanging plant basket, and I just turned it upside down to make a shade from it. And this beautiful iron garland that's around it is from Shop Terrain. And I'm pretty sure they have this version still available, if not something very similar, and I'll make sure I'll link that in the description below. All right, so here are a few things from my TV entertainment room area. This is a pitcher that I use to put these little stems in, and they're basically just like leftover stems that I had from doing other arrangements in there. And this is a pot that I got from H&M in their spring collection last year. I think they had like 3 different sizes. But even though it was for spring, the colors that I have in my living room this year for fall were different hues of green, yellow ochre, and brown. And it had all of those colors, and I love the glaze finish. And in here is just another one and done. There's 2 hops, sets of hops that came from Hobby Lobby. And that's it. And then here is a vase that I also got from H&M in their spring collection, and I decided to use this since I'm going for greens. And for me, green is a neutral. It's a color of nature. It goes pretty much with any other color in the rainbow. And what I did here is I put a Luminara battery operated candle in there, and I put in some eucalyptus. Are those eucalyptus? No. I put in a set of leaves here just to give something interesting to look at other than just the candle. And that's it. So think about using different items like the pitcher and the vase for other things other than what it was meant for. And you're always can change things up, but you're using something you already have on hand. And you never know what you're going to come up with. This is something new that I got this year. It's a urn from Hobby Lobby. I bought it when they had a 40% off on home decor. It's a great classic that you can use all year round. So it was a great bargain. And then inside I put some more stems from Hobby Lobby, which are these here. I think they're not thistles, but I'm not sure what this one is called. But I think I have like 3 stems of this in there. And then these artichoke stems. Look at how pretty those are. They're preserved stems. And I got that from the downtown LA market, flower market. Okay, these are artichoke stems that I got from the LA flower market. And they're preserved, I believe. Yep, you can see how they're attached on that. And I thought it was a great pairing of the different hues of green in here, which is what I was going for. And the touch of gold in that room. This tree I took a huge gamble with. I wanted to make it more fall. This was a fake ficus tree. And so I just got the idea to get a couple of different garlands of like a natural looking maple with lights. And I just kind of spun it around until they could all kind of stay in there. It's also sitting in a basket that I got from World Market a couple of years ago. And I think it looks fabulous. It took a lot of wrangling, but it looks great. All right, so these are great examples of a one and done arrangement. These currently sit on my side cabinet that you'll see coming up in my, well, actually, it's already out, my TV room and entertainment room. You'll see these. So this one here, this woven basket is from Walmart. Walmart really had some great things this season, like really great. I was surprised. I don't know why, but I really was. So, and it feels like it's really well made. I think it's some kind of plastic or something, but you really wouldn't be able to tell unless you kind of touched it. So this floral stem is from Hobby Lobby. And look how pretty these leaves are. They look velvet. Really great. And I literally just put it in there. All right, and this one, this vase I actually already had, but I aged it. And I used a baking soda technique where you just basically put a little paint there, whatever paint of the base. This one I kind of custom made like a super dark charcoal gray with black. I painted that on the area that I wanted to age, and then I just simply sprinkled baking soda on top. Let that dry, and it gives like this perfectly aged pot. And the hops are from Hobby Lobby. And look, I just put them in there and it's done. All right, so this beautiful thing here is those 70s grapes that I'm sure you have seen before, either in your own house or in someone else's house when you were a kid, or maybe even now. I love the color. These were my parents. And I love the color. These were my parents' grapes. And it was like a centerpiece that you would see in any 70s home. And I've always loved it. I've loved it as a kid, and I still love it as an adult. And it's just something nostalgic that I like to have in my house. And I always like to have something a little 70s mixed in with all the other new things. So here I added these beautiful velvet leaves that I got from this gorgeous notion shop in San Francisco a few years ago. I think it was called Bellagio. I'm not sure if they're still there, but if you are, shout out to Bellagio in San Francisco. And it just works so perfectly with this. And I love it. And this is sitting on my side table. So for my Thanksgiving project this year, I had these napkin rings that I've had for a very long time, and they actually were all this color inside, this beige, but I had painted them these kind of spring colors. But this year we're going to do like a antique bronze look to make it seem like they're a vintage beautiful bronze napkin rings that I found at some fabulous flea market somewhere. So that's what we're going to do today. So what I'm going to do is paint all of it black, the outside and the inside. And then this is the black paint that I'll be using. The golden fluid acrylics, but you can use any black paint that you can find. And also the same brand, I'll be using an iridescent bronze paint to put on top, to brush on top. And you have to make sure you can't use just the bronze, because it's not going to have that kind of antique look. You need to put the black as the base first. Let that dry completely, and then you're going to kind of just brush over it after, and then I'll show you how we do that. And this is going to get kind of messy, so I'm going to just put on my gloves before we get started painting. Okay. Okay, so we're going to let these dry, and then we'll check back. All right, so our napkin rings have dried, and we're going to start using our paint. Here is the paint little brown. And you're not going to need a lot of this if you're going to get this particular paint. It's pretty thick, but I also got it's pretty worn brush, and it's very, it's not soft. You know, it's got some texture to it. It's very worn, but this is going to put as little paint as I want on there. It's not going to just load it up with a bunch of paint, which is what we do not want. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there, maybe just dab it a little bit here, and let's go for it. And I would just start lightly brushing, and you see how that's starting to look like metal? You just want to start with a very little amount. Don't put a whole lot of paint on your brush, because you can always add more. It's going to be more difficult to take it off. Let's do that one more time. Ooh, look at that. That is looking really, really good. And see how that's starting to look just like some antique brass. Okay, we're going to just do another little bit on here. And then you just get to the point where, you know, you feel like it's the look that you want. See, isn't that? Looks great. All right, so I'm going to keep doing this, and we're going to let it dry overnight, and then we're going to check back. So these have dried overnight, and look how beautiful these turned out. I am just over the moon with how this all turned out. So I did the inside and the outside. Just gorgeous. So the next step we're going to do is put our finish on the outside. And so I've got two options here. This one is matte Krylon finish. This is nice because it's low odor, but you know, always remember, if you're spraying something, try to do it outside or in a well ventilated area like your garage or something, with the door open, of course. So there's that, and then this is a matte finish, and then this one, you can get at any craft store, is a gloss finish. So you can do a high gloss finish or matte. It just depends on your taste of what you want to do. I think I'm going to do, since I wanted kind of aged looking, I'm going to do more of a matte finish, just because I wanted to feel like they've been around for a really long time. But you know, brass, usually some brass comes in a really high gloss, kind of very shiny finish, and some don't. So that's going to depend on what you want to do. But I am so happy with this. I am definitely going to be using this technique on maybe another frame that I do, or a vase, or anything. This works really great on anything that has a lot of embossing or raised areas, where you're going to be able to see the detail and then the depth of the really dark undercoat there. So very happy. And then next time we're going to use this on our Thanksgiving table setting. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a DIY Thanksgiving centerpiece. I have a whole bunch of stuff here. Not sure exactly how I'm gonna use it yet. This I actually made last year. Here we go. This I actually made last year, and no, I actually made this a couple years ago. But I'm going to take this apart and use it for our centerpiece. And also, in part of the centerpiece is going to be this basket is the main element. So I'm going to be repainting this basket because I don't want to use this gray color. I have a pumpkin here, a velvet pumpkin. I have some gold pumpkins there, which I will leave gold. Then I have some picks here, some pumpkin picks. I have this little orange here. I have some nuts. Again, I may or may not use these. I have some smaller pine cones. I have these gold leaves. I have some, that's eucalyptus, yeah. And then I have some feathers that I might use. And this candle will also be in the basket. So let's see what we can do with all this to make a fabulous Thanksgiving centerpiece. Okay, so I've been organizing what I'm going to do for our Thanksgiving centerpiece basket. We have our feathers. I think I'm going to use 2 candles. And here is our basket that we painted. Painted it black. It's like a lacquer black. I think that's going to look real nice. All right, and then we have our pumpkin picks. We've got small and large pine cones. We've got some glitter pine cones here. This one. We've got some pumpkins that we got from Amazon a few years ago that are gold. They came like this, actually. Then we have some more natural looking pumpkins that came from one of my potpourri mixes. This also came from a potpourri mix. What else? We've got a couple of velvet roses that we might use. We may or may not use these gold accent leaves. Then we have some eucalyptus in different colors. We have that brown. We've got kind of like a smoky color. And then we have like a green color. And then this was part of the bow that I took off of the other kind of teardrop arrangement that I made a couple years ago. It was like this. We may use it. I think I might turn it into a double bow. Like that. So we'll see if we'll use that. All right, so the biggest issue is how are we going to get everything in the basket and get it to stay in place? So we need to figure out where and how we're going to place our candles. So if this one is okay here because it's pretty tall, then the short one just needs to be maybe moved up a little bit higher, possibly, or we want to move this up higher. So I think how I'm going to do that, instead of using floral foam and all of that, which I don't think we'll really need to do, we can use like craft paper. So this is just paper that I save anytime I get anything shipped. And Amazon is really great for this. And it's free. You can just take it out of the box, flatten it out, and fold it up and store it when you need it. We can just crumple that up like that. And then we're going to make a base. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll move on to the next step and see how I can rearrange these candles. So you're just going to have to work with whatever you have until you can figure out what height. I think I want that a little higher. All right, so I think this looks pretty good. All right, so then we need to start filling up the other space. So I think how I want to do that is let's start putting the base of the eucalyptus in there and start getting some base foliage in there, and then we'll move on from there. All right, so let's just start getting a form laid out with the foliage here. Figure out where our colors are going to be. This way. And some of these I'm going to have to cut because, as you can see, they're pretty long. All right, once we're kind of happy with how we're getting our structure in here, we'll just start placing the pine cones and seeing how that's going to work out. All right, so I had to fill in a little hole back here on the other side, but as you can see, it's still covering all that paper nicely. We haven't used any glue or any of that. All right, so I'm going to keep going and filling this up, and hopefully we'll come up with something that we want. So I think we might be done. Here it is. There's the other side. All right, and then we're going to put it on our table, and then we'll show you what it looks like with the table all set up. Here it is. This is the finished centerpiece. There's the other side there. And I think the ostrich feathers look really nice. You can see everything, and I didn't use any glue gun, no glue at all, because I'll probably, as I usually do, use the same materials and something else next year. Unless you love the way it looks and you know you want to use the exact same centerpiece again, you could do that. But we are going to leave it the way that it is. All right, so we're going to get this set up on our Thanksgiving table, and then you'll see how everything looks good together with the table setting and everything. Okay, here's our first trial Thanksgiving Friendsgiving table. I have it set up for 2 for now because I'm trying some different table settings out. But I think this one looks pretty good. Here are those gorgeous napkin rings that we made earlier. Aren't those really pretty? Wow. Love, love, love it. And this gold charger I got from Target like maybe 15 years ago. And I still use them for any, if I wanted something very elegant and formal table setting. These napkins came from Williams-Sonoma last year. And you guys saw that pumpkin there from Hobby Lobby. The same with that other little orange pumpkin, that's also from Hobby Lobby. And I added some other ceramic pumpkins there. The gravy boat came from Anthropologie, and as well as the plate a few years ago. You guys saw this set of the mushroom salt and pepper shakers and the butter dish in my kitchen and cabinet video. And here we are at the beautiful centerpiece that we made. I think it came out so great. And I chose to put it on the china cabinet because it's just a really good spot to kind of show it off. And you can see the glittery pine cone, the other pine cones, gold pumpkins, all the different fall leaves, the pumpkin picks, the ostrich feathers. Now, what really would have been cool too here and beautiful would have been pheasant feathers, but I didn't have any on hand, so I used the feathers that I had. But if you have pheasant feathers, I would use those. But it looks really great. You can see the other side here. And this arrangement kind of reminds me of an old world Venetian vibe. And I love it. I just wanted to show you how quick you can put something together if you don't have enough time, and maybe you're dealing, you have something on hand, or you're just going to run to the store really quick. Super simple. Okay, here we go. So this is just a regular basket. You could use a basket like this or a dough bowl if you have that, but something that's like kind of flat and wide or oval shaped. And I'm literally just taking some garland from Hobby Lobby, just one garland, haven't done anything to it. And I'm just literally putting it in the basket like this. Okay, so then next, we're gonna add in some pumpkins. And these gold pumpkins I got from Amazon like a few years ago. And they come like in a group of 8 or something like that. And they're super cheap. Okay, so all you do, just put those in there. So you're making your little golden pumpkin patch. Just put them anywhere you want. Here, there's one there. And then I have some maple leaves that I got from Hobby Lobby. So we're going to just stick this in here like that. And then we're going to stick the other one just like it over here. All right, and that's it. That's how quick you can put a centerpiece together with no time and hardly any materials. Thanks for watching. Don't miss my next video on how I plan for fall. I love to make a whole day of it. In that video, I'm going to be showing you how I made 2 5-layer autumn cakes. That's 10 totally different flavors of cake. I'll also be including some other activities like the books I'm going to be reading this fall, a Thanksgiving menu, a Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving menu. I'll show you how I like to shop and plan out these menus for the season, maybe a little bit of Christmas as well, and also how I like to plan for the projects and the decor for my home. So don't miss it.